Hey there guys, this is MKJR, and this is the Samsung A20. One of the cheapest Samsung phones, or quite frankly, any new phone you can get out there. Now the Samsung A20 easily earns its price tag, no doubt about it. But cheap Android phones are anything but new. However, they used to mean that you simply could not afford to shell out for a new iPhone or a flagship Samsung. Nowadays, they're starting to become more and more frequent, and the price you have to pay to get a good phone is smaller than ever. The killer feature for this phone is the screen, which is its main selling point and most impressive part of it. From the front, this thing looks anything but cheap. But this screen to body ratio right here, you can't even get an iPhone with this screen to body ratio. This is the same screen to body ratio that you get on the last generation Android flagship. With all new Android phones, no matter what the price is, are trying to do the same as well. Because while you're playing with the screen, you'll notice two things. The Super AMOLED makes this thing feel expensive. Like, it must be the most expensive part, because vivid colors and deep blacks look so good on this thing. No phone has this pretty looking a display. None of them have an AMOLED or OLED screen under $300. LG and their K series and their Stylo? No. Pixel 3a? No. iPhone SE? No. Look at any phone on your carrier's website, and for under $300, Samsung will be the only one with an AMOLED screen. So you may think, so what if it has a pretty screen? I mean, I need to go outside with my phone anyway, so brightness matters more than that. And for that, yeah, this thing is bright. Like, it hurts how bright it is. I had to change the color profile so the whites wouldn't blow up my iris, which is great for outdoors and bright rooms, but you're going to need the best blue light filter you can get if you want to scroll at night, because you're not going to go to sleep anytime soon. So all in all, I think this screen is a 4 out of 5. Now, it doesn't have a high resolution or a fast display rate, and while it doesn't get dark enough, that can be configured and changed. And still, for this price, that AMOLED screen is a killer feature. Now, about build quality, there is the obvious downside at this price. Unlike the iPhone SE, which has an old body and flagship internals, this has a new body that's nearly as good as a flagship with cheap internals. But the new body has a headphone jack, and the old body on the iPhone has wireless charging, and not this one. I don't know how that happened. Like, it runs on a processor called a Lassen 3 Plus, which I've never even heard of until this point. I mean, it has 3 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of storage, so it's not a slouch, it can multitask. But everything it does just felt sluggish. But it just kind of reminds me of the Samsungs of old, with like their old levels of lag, but they had a beautiful display. It's the same thing here. The first few days with this thing, I had to train myself how to swipe it right. Like, it just takes a little bit extra to swipe it. Just a itsy bitsy tiny bit. See, look. So overall for performance, it's just average. It feels like a $250 phone. It does not punch above at all. On how it feels besides the screen, it has curved edges, and while solid feeling, the back plastic glass hybrid always made it feel like it was slipping out of my hands. And even babying this thing, it'll scratch quick. I mean, it is a fingerprint magnet, and you can put it in your bed, it'll somehow get a scratch. It just gets scratches all the time. Just little scratches. You can never unsee them. So a case is highly recommended. And while you're at it, throw a screen protector in there too. The build quality is completely average. It doesn't have any water resistance, and it's completely plastic. The best thing I can say for it is you'll always have it in a case, so with the case, it'll feel like just about any other phone. Real quick, battery life. All you need to know is that it is a 4,000 milliamp battery, which is huge. Android phones love putting big batteries in them, and this one is no different. Getting 6+ hours on heavy usage and a day and a half on more light usage, which is great, but nowadays even bigger cells exist. And even Apple's optimization gets more now. So just above average, oddly enough. Next is a twofer. Camera and bang for the buck. Before we get back to the former, you have to unlock the thing. It comes with a rear fingerprint sensor, which I personally love. It's reliable, fast, and has a wicked feature of pulling down the notification panel when you swipe down. Although there is Face Unlock 2 on this device, it's nowhere near as secure as a proper face or iris sensor. Also NFC, which allows you to do things like use Samsung Pay and so on. Now, onto the camera. Avoiding getting in trouble for going outside, you can get quite nice pictures outside. You really can. Pictures are saturated and need a lot of light to look really good, with the wide angle being fine, as well as normal warping at the ends is a little more obvious than more expensive phones, but it does the trick. It does the trick well.
As for video, it does pretty good. It doesn't record in that high of resolution. It only records in 1080p from the rear or 720p from the front. But given enough light like outside, it looks pretty good. Video stabilization on the rear is pretty much non-existent.
This is a great phone for the price, with the only big caveat being system updates. Now, the only thing anywhere near the price bracket, iPhone SE and the Google Pixel 3a, have system updates that are constant, sure, but those are nearly double the price. And also, when you have a cheaper phone, its life period is still not that long. Its life period for most people is still just a year or two. Tally up the final score that I'm giving throughout the video. This only gets a 7 out of 10. It's not an absolutely great phone that I recommend to everyone. I can't. I mean, if you spend more money, you can get a much better phone that will feel better and perform better and last longer. But it's a good phone that will serve many people well. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel, as there will be many more tech reviews coming up soon. Thank you.